Hi everyone, it's Alex from the American Guitar Academy. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is really fun, though not particularly useful in every musical scenario, and that is whammy bar tricks. There are lots of them, but we're just going to cover a few of them today. So before we go any further, I'm just going to start off by explaining the different types of tremolo system. Now this one that I have installed on my guitar is called a Floyd Rose, and it's by a brand that's very famous doing this since the 1980s. So this is called a floating tremolo system. The reason why it's called a floating is because it pivots on a knife edge like this, and it can move either way, which means the notes can go down in pitch and they can go up in pitch. Now the term tremolo system isn't exactly correct depending on who you ask, but everyone knows what it means when you say it, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. So what the component is actually doing is it's tightening or loosening the string, or all the strings actually, which changes the pitch. Now some systems can only go down, some can only go up, though that's a bit more uncommon. And the degree on which it can go down or up, or how much the pitch changes, depends on the system and how the guitar is set up. So this kind of system here, this floating system as we discussed, is a little bit more wacky. You can do a little bit more stuff with it. It's a bit more extreme. The traditional kind of tremolo system that you'd find on a Stratocaster or similar guitar would be a little bit more vintage inspired, so it's not so much designed for the crazy techniques, though it's still possible. But this one is preferred because, as I said, it's a bit more extreme. It can go to those further lengths, either up or down in pitch, but also we have a locking nut up here, which helps keep the tuning much more stable. So when we do a crazy dive bomb like this, we get this sound. This doesn't sound good. It goes straight back into the tuning it was supposed to be in. Now let's look at a few of my favourite techniques. Now you already heard one of them. Some people think this is kind of like the guitar version of an elephant noise. I don't really know. I don't even remember where I learnt it, to be honest. But the idea is that you play two identical notes, and as you change the pitch, because those notes are played on different strings, the wave that the string creates, the sound wave I guess, it starts off the same because it's the same note, but as the strings change, they kind of separate and you get this kind of, they start to fight each other a little bit, and then it comes back in again when you let the bar go. So I'll demonstrate that one more time. And you can hear how it gets a little bit more angry as it goes up. So I'll quickly go over how we do that. So I'm going to play a harmonic on the 5th fret of the D string, which you probably can't hear. I'll turn my volume up so you can hear it. And then I'll do a harmonic on the 7th fret of the G string. And I'll do that with the volume turned down. This is key to the technique. So I'm going to play this, and then the other one. And as I roll the volume up, I'm going to push the bar away from the guitar. And then the pitch will increase as the volume increases as well, and you get this. Now, I think you would be really lucky to find a song or something where you could use that and it properly fit in. It's a bit of a gimmick. I just enjoy doing it to show off because I think it's really cool. There's a few other techniques as well, and I'm going to show you those now. This one, as I briefly touched on earlier on, is called a dive bomb. Now, dive bomb is where we play a harmonic and we push the bar down. And again, depending on the system that you've got, you can push it further or whatever, but I'm only going to push it a small amount, and I won't be too crazy with it today. So to start off with this example, I'm going to play a harmonic on the 9th fret of the G string. It sounds like this by itself. And then once I've done that, I'm going to slowly push the bar down until I want to stop, basically. So it will sound like this. Which is quite cool. You can also do that down. And play the harmonic on the way up. You can also play a harmonic in one side of the bend and play a different one on the other way, which sounds like this. which I think is a really fun little effect. Inspired by Jeff Beck, who was the master at using this kind of technique. And he was very subtle in his approach, for the most part, not always. And to do this, we're going to pick a really basic pentatonic phrase like this. And before we start that, which is on a D note here, 7th fret on the G string, I'm going to depress the bar a little bit before I play the note, and then let it go. You get this dun sound. And if I put that into the rest of the lick as a whole, like this. Now we don't have to do it in just that place. We can do it at the start, obviously. We can choose another note. We can go a bit higher and let it go down. So I was pulling the bar up a little bit and letting it down. You could do it higher up in the scale, obviously, like this. Now, the other thing that you can do is kind of end a phrase, which is something that Jeff Beck did a lot, and also John McLaughlin did as well, which was playing a phrase and then depressing the bar at the end, so the note goes right at the end of a phrase. But I think it's really cool. It's something like this, maybe. And for one bonus thing that I'm going to show, which is, again, a bit of fun, you could do this as like a climax of a really heavy solo, really rocking solo, something like that. You can just stick with, let's say, the 5th fret and the 8th fret of the B string, which is part of the A minor pentatonic scale. And you can do this. So just use legato to go between the two. And while you're doing that, push the bar down to bring it back up again, like this. So just to reiterate the point, there are loads of things you can do with the whammy bar. We just covered a few of them today. So practice it. Don't be too extreme. Don't really hit it unless you know that you have a system like this that can take it. Be careful that you get the notes right. You don't want to be like bending. Don't bend too much. Don't bend just under what you need to. Give it a shot. Use it in as many different places as you can. And don't use it everywhere, because then it will get really boring. Good luck.